Day 1 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. Today we're going to focus on creating our penguin model. Now, I am no professional at Blender, but it can't be that hard, right? Yeah, I accidentally made Mr. Peanut. That's fine, we will try again. I ended up spending so much time today learning about the basics of Blender, but I think for a second attempt, this looks great. With the model almost finished, it's time to move to the next step. I knew that coloring was going to be difficult because I didn't know what style I was going for. I watched even more tutorials on different cell shaders and materials to find something I liked. Now, I've worked on a lot of unfinished projects in Unreal Engine over the years, so working on the material nodes was actually kind of fun. I finally came up with a cell shader I thought fit nicely with the game, and just look how good this looks. I'm very pleased with on how this looks so far. If you guys have any suggestions for on how I can improve this, just let me know and follow along to be part of this journey. Day 2 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. Today we are moving our penguin into Unreal Engine. I thought it would be simple, just take the penguin and throw him into Unreal. There we go. Oh, I found out Unreal Engine and Blender use different rendering systems, which caused the penguin to lose his fur and the beak color. I ended up changing him back to his bland colors, which fixed the issue, and to make up for the cell shader, I made a quick one in Unreal Engine. Not the biggest fan on how it looks, so I'll work on that another day. I did some quick coding, and now we have a working penguin. He's a little stiff at the moment, but we will fix that up for tomorrow. Follow along to be a part of this journey. Day 3 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. We added our penguin model yesterday, and now it's time to give him some bones. We went back into Blender and gave him an armature. After that, we threw him right back into Unreal Engine and started creating a control rig. I attached each bone to move and created this cute jiggle effect for his head. Now it was time to start animating. I created an idle, walking, and jumping animation. After that, I used an animation blend so the animations didn't look too snappy, and just look on how this turned out. I'm so happy with these new changes. Just make sure to follow along and be a part of this journey. Day 4 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. Today we came across this issue. He doesn't blink. He just stares deeply into your soul with his voidless eyes telling you that you can't escape. And he told you to follow me. I was trying to figure out how I can add blinking without messing up all of our progress that we've made. I found out Blender has something called shape keys that allow you to change the form of your object into new shapes for animations. With that information, I hopped back into Blender, again, and created some new eye animations. I added a blinking, angry, and sad animation and threw him back into Unreal Engine, again. And with a little bit of coding, he can blink. Now so far, I'm not sure what to do with the other shapes yet, but I will soon. Follow along to be a part of this journey. Day 5 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. Today, I wanted the penguin to have something that will affect them if they mess up during their survival. And other than just lowering their HP, I wanted more. The game's chaotic for a reason, so what is a good, funny, chaotic mechanic to have? Ragdoll physics. Whenever you get hit, you ragdoll. If you waste all your fatigue meter, you ragdoll. If you mess up with the slightest mistake, you ragdoll. This mechanic is going to be game-changing later on when we add our predators. Follow along to be a part of this journey. Day 6 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. Today I wanted the penguin to have an effect on the ground when they walk so it feels a little more immersive. For this I had to learn the Niagara particles. I created a tiny cloud model for this effects and added some changes in the settings to make it look more noticeable. Finally, I traced the effect to the walking animation to give us a nice looking foot poof effect. I am loving how the player movement is turning out so far. Follow along to be a part of this journey. Day 7 of making my multiplayer game in 6 months. Today we are finally adding our egg to the game, and other than pushing it around, you can pick it up and place it back down. Coding this was a bit of a challenge, and we are definitely not finished since we are having some issues with the animations. But other than that, this was a huge success for today. Tomorrow we will try to fix some of those animations, but other than that, follow along to be a part of this journey.